Hey there, this is Lynette Chandler from Thrive Anywhere, back again with another installment of our Print on Demand Planner series. This is the second in the series. In the first segment, I showed you how I would go about preparing one of our products for printing at lulu.com. If you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend that you go and watch that as well. Today, I'll be preparing the cover that accompanies the workbook. Let's get started. From last week, I have created a duplicate of the PowerPoint file that comes with this product, and I've named it covers. So if you watch that video, you would remember me doing this. Today, I'm going to duplicate that again, and I'm going to name it working. The only reason I do this is because I will always have a backup copy. Now, of course, if you do, you can always log back into your account over at thriveanywhere.com and re-download the item. But I prefer not to do that when I have everything already on my desktop. Basically, that's just to keep me from jumping from one place to another too much. The other thing I also have opened up on my computer is the PDF copy of this workbook. And I have it here. And the PDF copy is also included in your downloads. Why do I do this? Only because I need a visual reference. So as I work and I delete things and move things around, I might lose my place and I might not remember where everything is placed in the design. Doing this gives me a reference point as to where everything is. So this will just stay by the side and hang out here. I'm going to move it away and let me just open up this PowerPoint file. The file that you see here is exactly how it is when you download it from our website. So like the previous video, I am going to remove all the internal pages now since we're done with the internal pages. So I just select the first internal page and hold my shift key, and then while holding the shift key, click the last page, and then I simply hit delete on my keyboard. And now I am left with the cover page. Next thing I will do is I am going to head over to my slide master, and I'm simply going to duplicate this layout. And this time I am going to delete everything on this to give me a clear blank workspace. Now, I know from Lulu, let me open this PDF up that I downloaded directly from Lulu. So from this template, Lulu tells me that the total document size for the cover is going to be 17.25 and 11.25 inches. For the covers, the way they do it in commercial printing is they print the whole cover, the whole front and back in one go. And that is why the size is double what it normally is. So I'm going to set this aside here and come back over here. And let me reduce this so I can see what I need here. And from here, I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and change it to exactly what it tells me here, 17.25 by 11.25. And that takes into account the bleed size. And I'll click OK. And I'll say don't scale, but somehow or another PowerPoint still does that. So it really doesn't matter which one I do at this point. I'll simply say don't scale. Now that I have it, I need to place this template in the background here in the master layout so that I can see what I'm doing as I go. And I can make sure that all my content is in the right place and it will not be cut off. What I've done is I have exported this PDF into a JPEG file, and so that I can add it into my PDF, into my PowerPoint, and I've done that here. I'm going to drag this in here. Okay. Now, let me come back over to PowerPoint and make this larger so we can see things a little better. Whoops. Okay. Now, I am just going to drag this and all the way until it snaps into place and covers the entire page here. Great. Before I close my master, I'm going to head back up here to this and copy everything here. You know what? Before I copy everything, I want to make sure that I get these away. These are information at the page footer that is default in PowerPoint, and I don't want those because it's not relevant for us. And then I'm going to select everything, right click, copy. And I know it's stretched here, but that's okay. We will rework that later. And I'm going to click Close Master. Now I'm here. I just need to change this layout to the one that I just created, and I can see exactly where everything should be placed. First thing is I need to move this over here. I'm not too concerned about making sure it's exactly where it is for right now, because what I'm most concerned about is the design. So I'm going to paste this. Now that I've pasted it in here, I really can't see anything that's going on, and that's all right. I want to go back to my Arrange tab up there and make sure I have a selection pane. The other thing I also want to expose here is, let me click on any one of these. I'll right click and format shape. So I have two of these now. And in fact, if I want to, I can just move them out so I have a larger working space. That's really up to you. But I tend not to do that simply because I'm so used to having everything where they are. But that's okay. So I'm going to resize this. I'm going to select the design that I have. Okay, and I am going to resize this all the way back here. I'm not going to work on that right this minute, but I just basically want to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Let me put all this stuff back. So now I have this here, this yellowish background. I want to cover the entire page here. That means I want it to extend from the front page to the back cover, just to keep it continuity going on here. This yellowish background here must extend all the way to the edge, covering the light blue color, because this light blue here is going to be cut off. And because I want the design to go all the way to the edge, that's the bleed. So I want to make sure that it covers all the way. I also want to change the color some, because I know this is a transparency. As you can see here, there's a transparency. When you're sending your file to Lulu to print, transparencies really don't work that well, and you need to flatten your images or make them non-transparent. So I will have to remove the transparency. Now, when I remove the transparency, of course, I can't see what everything is going on back here, but I will also need to change this color, because once I remove this transparency, it's going to change the color to something that's more saturated. Now, if that's okay with you, that's completely fine. In this case, I just want to make it lighter, like this. So I will have to do this little color here, and maybe I'll change it to that color. Or if you are changing your cover and changing your design, you probably don't need to do this. Anyway, for right now, I'm going to put the transparency back so I can see what I'm doing. Again, I have to remember to remove the transparency when I export it to PDF. Next thing I will do is, you see this design here. I want to, as much as possible, put it within the within the dark blue areas. The bottom here for sure. I want to put it as much as possible within the dark blue areas and reduce it to go inside the dark blue areas and go in here. If it's just a little bit off, I'm not too worried about it. I think that is fine. Okay, that looks good to me. The other thing I also want to do right now is to come back over to my selection pane here and make sure I don't have any transparencies. Now, I've already done this already, and I know that I don't have any transparencies in this design. I'm going to right click and ungroup this entire thing. And when it ungroups, it's going to go crazy. Don't worry too much about that yet. And once I've ungrouped, I'm going to click outside, and then I am going to select that, right click here, and then group here. Now I'm going to hold down my Option key, or I can simply do copy, and I'm going to paste it here, paste. And what I'm doing here is I want to have a continuity going on over here. Now, this is up to you. Again, because our products are created for digital, we don't create back covers. So the back cover is your free license to do whatever you want. It's completely up to you. You just have to make sure that if you are selecting a print option that requires a barcode or ISBN, that you leave this area here blank for your barcode. But for me, I like this top here, so I'm going to add this to the back here as well. I don't want any of these designs, so that's fine. Now, when printing at Lulu, in my mind, I have already selected the option to not print global because I want to print this planner or this workbook as a coil bound. For Lulu, you cannot do a global distribution option if you want coil bound. And because I'm not doing global distribution, the barcode or the ISBN is not necessary. However, in case you are using global distribution, you're using a different kind of binding option, you will have to add your ISBN. Now, you can get your own ISBN. You can also get a free one from Lulu, and all you need to do is just click a button. And we'll go through that in the coming videos as we set it all up on Lulu. But I'm just explaining to you all these options and where they're coming from. So in case you do need an ISBN or you want to add an ISBN anyway, I already have an ISBN downloaded from Lulu. It is right there. I am going to drag and drop it over here. And you see that? And I am going to put this in here. I want to just make it as large as possible. Still need it. I'll put it as far to the side as I can. Once I'm done with this, I can select the yellow background and remove the transparency. And this is what my cover is going to look like. One more thing, somehow my text got messed up. So I need to find where my text is, which is the title of this book. Let's see, where is it now? It could be, yep, there it is. I'm going to move it all the way to the top. Okay, there it is. In fact, I could just have right click and say arrange, bring to front. And I just want to make sure that everything here is working, it's looking good. And now is where I decide to properly place it, that it's in the right, that is visually in the right space. So what happens to the back here? What should I do here? Again, it's up to you. Personally, I would put a text box here, and I would say, describe the planner, the workbook, and also tell people about your company, any kind of information that might help people pick it up and give them an idea what this workbook is all about, what this planner is all about, and why they should care and why they should buy, right? And of course, if you want to, you can add your photo or your logo, whatever that you want on here. You could also leave it blank if you want to, but I would definitely put some kind of information here. Once I'm happy with this, I can export it as a PDF. Once again, I want to make sure I go to my PowerPoint preferences, and I want to make sure that my print or PDF quality is set as high as possible before I export. And then I'm going to do File, Export, Working Covers, PDF. Great. So I'm going to click Export, and that is done. Between the last video and this video, what we've done is we have prepared the internal pages and we have prepared the cover page. So we have two PDFs, internal PDFs and cover PDF. In the next installment, we are going to head over to Lulu and create our project in Lulu and upload all these files and go from there. But at this point, we are good to go for our next step. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like and make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you'll be notified of our next installment and future videos that are like this. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.